What's going on, everybody? It's your Fly Tech guy Mark, and today we're talking about the Pixel 4 XL. Now, this phone has gotten a lot of hate. Every review I've watched, every review I've read has hated this phone. And not to say that I don't hate it, but I'm actually kind of a fan of it. So we're going to talk about why this phone is actually good for who Google made it for. So let's dive right in. So first, let's start off with one thing here. The iPhone 11. Everybody is comparing it to the iPhone 11, and I don't see why. Yeah, it's $100 more than that phone, and the iPhone 11 gets you a better battery life, it gets you a wide-angle camera, and that's it. The Pixel 4 XL comes with a QHD Plus display, 90Hz screen, so a smooth display. It comes with two great cameras, just like the 11 does. It comes with a better assistant. Siri is not that good, we all know that. So why are we comparing it to the 11 and not the 11 Pro Max or the Samsung Note 10 Plus or the OnePlus 7T, 117 Pro? Why are we not comparing it to those phones? It's a flagship phone. We need to start comparing it to other flagship devices and compare it to what the 11 Pro does for their users and what the Pixel 4 XL does for their users. The Pixel 4 was made for someone who wants to get things done on the go without having to look at their phone 24/7. The Pixel 4 is for someone who wants to look at their phone quick, get something done, and then move on to the next thing that they're doing in their day, whether it's work, whether it's hanging out with friends. They don't want to be attached to their phone, and that's why Google made this phone for someone who is on the go, trying to just get things done but not be attached to their phone. And maybe at night, watch a video, scroll through Instagram, scroll through Twitter, because the display is amazing. And we're going to get to that in 1 second. But we need to stop hating this phone because it doesn't have a great battery life. That's really the only reason people hate it. Yeah, it has big bezels. That's fine. I think the bezels are better than the giant notches that are on all the phones last year. So let's dive in and talk about that display now, because I did say it's notchless, and it is, and it's amazing. That's the first thing I noticed out of the box was how great the screen was. I don't know if it was the 90Hz display that Google made this year and how it turns off when you're not using it and turns back on, but immediately I noticed the display and how great it was. So understand that when you pull this phone out of the box, you're going to be getting a great display, movies, videos, all content, scrolling through Instagram, Twitter, whatever it may be you're doing. It's a great screen and you're going to love it. That 90Hz display is going to eat up your battery a little bit. The Pixel 4 comes with a 2800 milliamp battery and the Pixel 4 XL comes with a 3700 milliamp battery. So yes, you're going to be upset with the battery life, but that's if you use it intensively, and that's not what this phone's meant to be used for. So I use my phone and I get 4 to 5 hours of screen on time easily. Now, what I use my phone for, though, is going through social media, messaging friends, looking at emails, and watching some videos throughout the day and to finish up the night. So if you want to use this phone intensively to do other things, say game on it or run intensive apps, this phone's not for you. You're going to have to look at a phone that has, honestly, a better battery than what the Pixel 4 and 4 XL give you. Pixel 4 and 4 XL do support 18-watt fast charging, which is decent, and it supports now 11-watt wireless charging, which is something that I've actually noticed charges much faster than my Pixel 3 did. So if I plop my Pixel 4 XL on the wireless charger, it actually charges pretty quick. I've seen it go up to 10% in a matter of 5 minutes or 10 minutes easily. So if you do use your phone a lot and you run intensive apps or games, you can easily put it in a charger for 5 to 10 minutes, whether it's wireless or wired, and you should have enough juice to be ready to go throughout your day and still not have the phone die on you all day. So remember, don't use this phone intensively if you're going to buy it, and if you're going to buy it, I hope you're not an intensive user. Before I talked about how amazing the screen was and how it is now notchless. So let's talk about all the tech that Google has actually fit into that top forehead, we'll call it. And what they fit in there was Face ID, so they gave all the projectors, the dot projector, the face recognition hardware, and they also put a new chip in there called a soli chip. But we'll get to that in a sec. Let's talk about the Face ID. It is super, super fast. You can pick this phone up and look at it, and boom, it's open for you. It skips the lock screen. It's almost like it's not recognizing your face and it's just going and opening on its own, but it does have to recognize your face first, so there's no security flaw there. And people are getting really, really angry about the fact that your eyes can be closed and this phone can open. But what I say about that is, who cares, right? If you have somebody in your life that's going to take your phone and use it against you, or try and use it when you're, say, sleeping, taking a nap or something, they shouldn't be in your life and you shouldn't trust them. If you're getting arrested, which was another scenario I heard, and the police come up and use the Face ID to get into your phone, don't get arrested. These are all things that could be avoided. So I don't think it's that big of a deal that you can open this phone without your eyes being open. So let's move past that and let's appreciate how fast it does open, because it's really quick and it's pretty useful at times. The other piece of tech in the top forehead is a Soli project sonar. Google calls it Soli project, and what it is it basically senses your hand motions and uses those as commands. So Samsung did this in the past, LG did it, I'm pretty sure Huawei did it in their new Mate 30 line, but the difference is this is using sonar, whereas the other ones were just using kind of a camera to sense. Here are some of the use cases. Listening to a song and you don't like the track. Swipe, there you go, next track. This one's kind of useful. So if there's an alarm or a timer set, as you reach for the phone, the alarm will kind of lower and the sound will go away. Same thing with the timer, and then you could swipe and snooze the alarm. But if you're on an alarm and you swipe, it'll always snooze for 10 minutes. If you're on a timer and you swipe, it'll shut the timer off. That's kind of useful if somebody's in the same room as you, if you have kids and you don't want to wake your kid up and you set the alarm. So those are kind of useful. But other than that, that's kind of it. The only other thing is when you reach for the phone and it's unlocked, it'll start the Face ID recognition's hardware all up, and when you bring it to your phone, it's already basically reading your face, and that's why that Face ID is so quick. So that's kind of useful. But if you don't believe in this Soli project, I'm going to drop a link in the description, and it's actually Google explaining some other use cases for it. They're kind of amazing, and with future updates, this Soli project could honestly take off and be huge. Google did this so that people have less interaction with the phone and they can stay focused on what they're doing. So I kind of believe in this Soli project, and I think it's going to be really useful in the future, because if Google does what they say they're going to do with it, then a lot of people are going to enjoy using it, and it'll be less interaction with your phones, and you'll be more focused on doing things that you should be doing rather than sitting on your phone doing whatever it is you do. We got the front of the phone covered. Let's flip to the back of it and talk about that camera bump. Also, first thing I noticed out of the box, camera bump is a lot smaller. A lot smaller than what you think it is. So that was the first thing I noticed. Second thing I noticed was all of the finishes are matte except for that black. I don't know why Google kept the black glossy, because a matte black would have looked really, really nice and would have felt great in the hands, but the Oso Orange, which I have, and the white are both matte finishes, and they feel absolutely amazing. You're going to love the design of the phone. Personally, I love that black bar that goes around the phone and then the matte finish on the back. I think it feels really nice. I think it looks really nice. And that camera bump is honestly a lot smaller than you think, and it's actually kind of nice. So I like what Google did with the phone. Let's talk about the cameras now and the fact that there is no wide angle camera. Now, everybody freaks out about that, gets very angry that there's no wide angle on Google. How could you do that, saying that, you know, the zoom is more important than a wide angle? Well, it is what it is. I'm not too upset about it. I would have loved to have a wide angle because I think you could get some pretty amazing shots with it. And knowing Google, they probably would have done something really cool with it. But the super res zoom is actually pretty sweet now. You get some really high quality pictures from that zoom with their computational photography now. So I think you'll still enjoy that a lot. Obviously their regular camera is just as amazing. A few things have changed with the camera, not a lot, so we'll just talk about the few things that have changed. They now have live HDR, which is kind of cool, pretty useful. Before, Google would not show you the final product when you took a picture, rather they would show you just what it looked like from the camera, and then they would go back and they would run their computational photography through the algorithms and everything, and then it would come back a different picture than what it looked like on the screen. So the Pixel 4 changes that. You have live HDR, you could change the shadows, the highlights, and the exposure, and it will show you exactly what it's going to look like once it's finished processing. So that's kind of neat. It's kind of interesting to see that. And the other thing they have now is astrophotography. This may be one of the coolest features on a smartphone that I've seen, because you can get some pretty amazing pictures. I've only seen samples. I haven't been able to try it out for myself, but from the samples you get absolutely stunning pictures from a smartphone. So if you get this, you definitely need to try it out. Other than that, the camera has not changed that much. I don't feel like I need to talk about it, because everybody should know if they buy a Pixel phone, they're getting Pixel-like pictures, which are amazing as usual. So just know that the camera is great like usual, and there's only a couple new modes. Nothing new has really changed besides that super res zoom has gotten a lot better, astrophotography mode, and live HDR. Those are the things that I've realized that have changed, so those are most likely what you're going to realize too. The thing that persuaded me the most to get this phone wasn't the 90Hz smooth display, wasn't the super res zoom and the astrophotography modes, not the lacking of battery, but rather the Google Assistant. They have done some great things with this Google Assistant. So they moved it now to the phone. There's a chip dedicated to the Assistant, so that's huge for security. It's not going back to any data centers and transcribing what you said and then keeping that information there. It's now all on the phone, so there's a couple things that happen. It's now super fast, it is less intrusive, and it is amazing and fun to use. So you will use the continued conversations, at least I do. I don't know if you may, but it's super helpful too. So what you can do is say, show me pictures of my trip last year, the ones in water, click on that one, then say send this to Kim, and it'll do all that for you. And that's one of the things that I said Google made this phone for. It made it for somebody who doesn't want to sit on their phone. They just want to interact with it quick and get things done. That's what this phone is for, and that's what Google made it for. You will enjoy this Google Assistant a lot because it is super helpful and it will help you get things done quick and easy without sitting on your phone for minutes at a time or hours at a time. So going back to the main reason Google made this phone, it was for people who want to get things done and get them done quick without sitting on their phone. And that's what I have this phone for. I don't like to sit on my phone. I don't use it a lot. Look at it for messages, emails, social media, a little bit throughout the day, and then watch videos at night. And that's all I need it for. The Assistant helps me get everything I need to get done. I use the 90Hz display and I love it. It's really smooth. Scrolling through things is amazing and it just looks great even when you're watching videos. The camera's amazing, like I said before. So everybody's hating because this phone has a bad battery life. Well, if you use it correctly, it'll do what it's supposed to do and you will have the right amount of battery life left at the end of the day. Now, with that being said, look in the other phones if you're an intensive user because you will not be happy with this phone. Other than that, guys, it's your Flight Tech guy Mark, and I'll see you guys in the next one.